Technology addiction is defined as frequent and obsessive technology related behaviors increasingly practiced despite negative consequences to the user of the technology. Due to the pandemic, we know that we can't really gather up into larger groups or go out and see our friends as much without wearing a mask and being socially distanced. But with our phones, with our devices, with our social media, with anything to connect to people with without going to go see them, that's what we're relying on right now to try to keep in touch with everybody. My topic today is humans are becoming slaves to modern technology. In this day and age, it's very easy to stay looking at a screen, looking at your smartphone, looking at your laptop, and we feel like we are very, very reliant on those. And there are many reasons why we feel the need to have them at all times, but we may not need our devices as much as we think we do. I'm qualified to discuss this topic because I've done the proper research to talk about it. The three main points I will discuss are, there are three main points I will discuss in the body of my speech. The first one, I will provide you with the centering on why we're so addicted to our smartphones or technology in general. My second main point would be the cause as to why we're so addicted. And the third one would be some solutions to not be so reliant on our devices. Alright, so let's begin with my first topic of the speech. My first main point is to center on the problem as to why we're so addicted to being on our devices. According to a 2015 article written by Professor Elliot Benjamin, who's a psychology professor at the University of Maine, he mentions how he has seen young people appear to be addicted to their social media from him teaching his psychology classes. His students explain how people no longer want to interact in person rather than be on their phones or talk to people in that way, because obviously they'll be much more comfortable. And then a 2014 article titled New Zealand Youth and the Relationship with Mobile Phone Devices. A study has been aimed to explore the relationship between young people and their mobile phones with a specific focus on the problematic uses. These findings suggested that young people recognize problematic behavior in relation to the mobile phones, such as behavioral, social, and psychological consequences. Behavioral, it's easy and relaxed to be on your phones, but then once you actually have to go talk to somebody face to face, it gets nerve-wracking, and then sometimes you won't know what to say, sometimes you get mad at yourself for not knowing what to say. And then now that you're familiar with the problem of people being too addicted to technology, I'll move on to discuss causes of this problem. My second main point will discuss causes of the problem. According to a 2009 article written by Paul Peter Verbeek titled Ambient Intelligence and Persuasive Technology, he discusses how combining an understanding of how influencing behavioral works with the specific possibilities provided by information and communication technology has arisen new leeway for the design and application of technologies that greatly impact our everyday lives. With technology becoming an influencer of our moral choices, the moral character of our actions seem to be disappearing. A human action carried out under the influence of technology is more likely to be qualified as controlled behavior rather than as a moral action. And according to a Turkish university study written by Hava Sir, titled The Effect of Technology Addiction on Academic Success and Fatigue, and this is going to be based on Turkish university students, with a study that was conducted to determine technology addiction levels on academic success and fatigue. And then some of the statistics of it, 743 students participated in the study. Data was collected by using a student identification form, a problematic phone use scale, an internet addiction scale, and the Piper fatigue scale. At the end of the experiment, 9.8% of the students were at risk of having internet addiction, while 0.7% of internet addiction was detected, and the phone addiction was at 5.8%, with fatigue levels of the total fatigue levels, which, while the internet addiction of students alone reached 6.8% of fatigue. Since you now know the cause of the problem of people becoming slaves to modern technology, let's look at some solutions as to what we can do for not being so reliant on our phones. My final main point is to discuss some solutions of people not becoming so addicted to technology. According to the 2016 journal titled The International Journal of Psychology and Behavioral Analysis, the authors researched and came up with different ways parents can help their kids reduce the addiction they have with their smartphones. See, like high school, college students aren't the only ones so addicted. Some kids are also starting to be more reliant on their phones or on their parents' phones, so because they want to be on it all the time. Some solutions include having social interaction with family, friends, going to events, going to see people, which will really help in the long run for people to talk to one another instead of being so reliant on their phones. And it also includes the educational aspect on how university students use their smartphones. And they use them to come up with solutions and anything school related or in their classes or whatever they need to use them for. Another 2018 article entitled Technology Addiction in the Digital Economy and Suggested Solutions, written by Adnan Erdemel. It lists various recommendations for different scenarios, such as family, friends, organizations, or being a society in general. They all say the same things. Of course, to limit yourself on your phones while being around others, talk to one another instead of having your face buried down on your phone for the majority of the day. Look up, look outside, talk to people instead of being on your social media platforms all the time. In conclusion, today I discussed the topic of humans becoming slaves to modern technology. There were 3 main points that I focused on in the body of my speech. First, I provided you with centering on the problem as to why people are being too addicted to their phones. My second main point was discussing causes of the problem. My final main point was to discuss some solutions to not be so addicted to technology. And I will end this speech with whether being on your phone for social media purposes, talking to friends and family, or using it as something to get you distracted, it's always a good idea to focus on reality and what's really around you. Talk to your family in person, talk to your friends, plan something to do with your friends. Don't be so reliant on your phone. Go outside, go do something, go walk around. There's so many things you can do besides looking at your phone and being on social media and texting people and anything. So all right. So that's the end of my speech. Thank you for listening. Hope you guys have a good day.